Hey guys, I hope everyone's day is going well, and today we have a really cool yo-yo review with one of the most unique yo-yos I have ever displayed on this channel. This is from a brand new company, a company I've never personally heard of or worked with, so I'm super excited to walk you guys through what they've created. Today, we're gonna be taking a look at the 44Emporium Feather. Now, like the name suggests, this is a very light yo-yo, and I'm super excited to talk a little bit about the background of the yo-yo and also how it plays and how I like it. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so before we dig in and get to know the yo-yo a little bit, I want to give you guys just a little bit of background information and history on this yo that I think will kind of help develop your understanding of this entire throw. So for starters, this yo is made by 44Emporium, which is a company based in Toronto. It is designed by Evan Kui, who's from Canada and actually got second place this year at Canadian Nationals. He told me that this yo took over a year and a half to create, over 10 different prototypes. So hopefully it's pretty good at this point. So yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to Evan for messaging me on Instagram and sending me this yo-yo. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and include the links in the description down below to all of their contact information and also a link that you can use to buy this very yo-yo. So now you guys know a little bit of history about what went into this yo-yo. I'm gonna throw the specs of this yo-yo on the next screen and make sure to pay close attention to that weight. Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about the specs of the Feather from 44Emporium. So for starters, we've got a material of 7075 with stainless steel rims. So 7075 aluminum is a more expensive and higher grade of aluminum, which means it's more durable if you hit the yo-yo on the ground. It's got those stainless steel rims there, which is a really popular competition design to drive more weight to the outside of the yo-yo and help it spin longer. There it is, the elephant in the room, the weight of 55.5 grams. Guys, this is truly tremendous. I personally have almost never seen a yo-yo this light in my entire life. Most yo-yos in this day and age are weighing around 63 to 65 grams. And you might say, oh, you know, a difference of about 10 grams can't be that much. Well, for yo-yoing, it is. Even a difference of like 0.5 grams between two yo-yos can really change the entire playability of it and also how it feels. So seeing 10-gram difference between kind of the average and industry standard and this yo right here is unbelievable. So as you can guess, this is a ridiculously light yo-yo. The diameter of 54.7 millimeters is, I'd say, pretty standard, a little bit on the larger size, but nothing too crazy. The width of 50 millimeters is super wide. So I'd say most yo-yos in this day and age are coming in around like 48 millimeters, but then again, yo-yos are getting a lot wider as time goes on. But still, 50 millimeters for the width, that is pretty wide. The rest of the specs are pretty simple, but I did want to talk a little bit about the actual unboxing experience of this yo-yo. Now, I normally don't really go over the packaging of a yo-yo or anything like that, but this has such a unique unboxing experience that I kind of wanted to take you guys through. So this yo-yo, the Feather, comes in a very unique packaging. As you can see, it's this really cool looking kind of white cylinder. The more you look at this thing, the more details come out. So if you look all across it, it says 44 everywhere, and then kind of along the middle, it has 44Emporium designed right there. At the top, it kind of has this cool like triangle jig-jag design that's also kind of translucent. So there's a lot going on here. According to Evan, this is actually a partnership with Layer Infinity. This is a 3D printed box that's specifically used to hold the Feather. Another cool thing about this is that this box also doubles as an accessory container, which is super cool, so you can toss your strings, your bearings, whatever you want. It's really awesome. And then the cap on the top actually is removable, and you can replace it with any freehand sized cap. So if you guys have a freehand yo-yo and it's got this kind of cap, you can actually replace it. So a lot of thought and really intricate details went into the designing of this. It is so satisfying, I must say, to unscrew this thing. Like, I have literally never seen a yo-yo package design quite like this, and I love the attention to detail that this container has. This is such a creative thought, and I'd love to see more yo-yo companies do this kind of thing, because this just makes the entire yo-yo unboxing and package experience that much more special. Evan also mentioned that they partnered with Original Throw to create kind of this perfect first throw experience. And what that means is the string that's included with this yo is Original Throw fat string in the yellow color, and this yo also comes equipped out of the box with Original Throw response pads. Now, if you don't know, Original Throw is a really incredible company that for years has produced super high quality string and response pads, and so many competitors in this day and age, and in fact I would say a majority of them, use Original Throw accessories. So essentially, this yo comes equipped with some of the best accessories known to man. It's already got some fantastic response pads and a string that is used by so many competitive yo-yo players. It's really cool that they've kind of taken this attention to make this yo-yo absolutely perfect out of the box. I know so many people that swear by original throw response pads and string, and so it's just kind of an added bonus that this yo-yo comes equipped with basically everything you need for the perfect experience. So yeah, enough talking about the accessories and all that. I just wanted to walk you guys through a little bit because there's so much attention to detail and intelligent decisions that I'm really impressed with Evan. So let's take a look around the yo-yo. For starters, this looks like a very competition-oriented wide yo-yo. So starting off with that shape, it is super wide. The gap width of this thing is absolutely nuts. It is so large. There's so much room for the string to land into the groove of the yo-yo, which is awesome to see. The shape itself is very competition oriented, and it's kind of this HV shape combination that I see a lot, where it really cuts down to some very low walls in the center. So as you can see, it's got those rims on the outside, and it's got this major scoop and a couple cuts that lead down to the bearing. This is a very competition oriented shape and kind of stretched out a little bit since this yo-yo is 50 millimeters wide. Moving on over to the cup, there's nothing too crazy going on here. However, there's that really fun little logo there that I actually like a lot. I think the design looks super clean, and I think it just adds a nice little touch to this yo-yo. That's the 44Emporium logo right there, so you love to see it. But overall, I think this yo-yo looks great. This silver color that I got is fantastic. I think it looks super clean and sharp, and the shape itself is honestly one of my favorite competition type shapes, where it really scoops down there. All right, so how does the feather play on the string? As you might expect, it plays really, really light. The feather is by far the most maneuverable competition yo-yo I have ever used in my entire life. This is such a light yo-yo, it is unbelievable. So for starters, I mean, when you throw this thing down, it almost feels like it doesn't even hit the end of the string. It is very, very light. And with that, this yo-yo switches direction and is the most maneuverable yo-yo ever. I literally have not felt a yo-yo that is so controllable in my entire life, and I've tried a lot of yo-yos. This yo-yo literally just changes direction on a dime. You can be having it going in one direction and just immediately switch it to a fully different direction or different plane of play. And honestly, it's kind of hard to describe how this yo-yo feels if you haven't tried it. However, one kind of analogy that I like to use when I think about this yo-yo is when I'm playing with this yo-yo, it almost feels like I'm using very, very short string. So if you guys have ever used ridiculously short string, I'm talking like shorter than the belly button, just extremely short string, you can feel that the yo-yo is just so much more maneuverable and fast. It feels like you can just switch directions super easily. And on the flip side, if you ever used a really long string, it kind of feels a little bit more out of control and also more difficult to do fast tricks and switch the yo-yo's direction. This yo-yo feels like you're playing with a ridiculously short string. It is so easy to get up to speed, and it is such a fast and nimble yo-yo that the agility is just out of this world. I will say, this is an extreme yo-yo. This is not a normal yo-yo by any means. When it comes to the play of this yo-yo, it really will play unlike anything you've used before. Now, I will say, the stability of this thing was shocking. Normally with yo-yos that are on the lighter side, you know, around 61 or 60 grams exactly, they play pretty unbalanced. A lot of yo-yos that are on the lighter side don't really have good spin times, and they also tilt a ton with play, so they lack stability. I would say that for a yo-yo that is this light, it is remarkable how much stability this yo-yo has. Now I will say, this is not the most stable and long spin yo-yo I've ever used. Now obviously that's because this thing is so light. This yo-yo still does have really good stability, and as you can see from these clips, this yo-yo has been used in a bunch of different competition settings, and it's performed really well. I just want to draw the line where this is definitely a competition-oriented yo-yo, and it has a great spin time, it has a lot of stability. However, it is not the most stable and the most long spinning yo-yo that I've played with. If you're used to yo-yos that are coming in around more 65 grams and you're used to the stability that most competition yo-yos in this day and age have, it's not gonna feel the same. There were some times, I will admit, that this yo-yo lacked a little bit in the stability sector. I would finish a long combo and I'd be like, wow, this yo-yo is barely spinning. That has happened a couple times. However, again, I must say, it is super impressive how stable this yo-yo is for the fact that it is literally like a feather on the string. So as you'd expect, fast tricks are really, really good. You can change direction so quickly. You can get this yo-yo up to speed with little to no effort. However, it might die out on you a little bit. It might have a little less stability than you're used to. It might tilt a little bit. That's just a byproduct of having such a light yo-yo. Then for whips and slacks, I thought this yo-yo was fantastic just because it is so dang wide. There is so much room to catch the yo-yo in the gap. I would say that tech tricks were decent with this yo-yo. It is a little on the larger side, I will admit. This is a pretty big yo-yo by all dimensions. So if you're putting it in some pretty dense string configurations, you might have some trouble. But in the grand scheme of things, I didn't really have too many issues with it. I would say that binds and regens were good with this yo-yo, and I think that original throw fat string and response pads that come in the box are really awesome because it makes for a very pleasant experience binding this yo-yo. I would say that regens are decent, but a little bit on the wobbly. So sometimes when you regen this yo-yo, and I suspect this is just because the yo-yo is so light, it kind of comes off your hand a little bit wobbly and vibey, like as you can see in that clip. And this wasn't a huge deal for me because I don't really do that many regens, but that's just some food for thought. I think that when a yo-yo is really, really wide and also super light like this one, it's more susceptible to coming off of a regen with a lot of vibe. Horizontal with this yo-yo is super solid. I actually really enjoyed it because this yo-yo is so fast. So if you've ever done a horizontal trick and felt like your yo-yo couldn't keep up with you, this yo-yo is the exact opposite. It almost like feels like it's driving for you. And so this is a really cool experience when doing horizontal with this yo-yo just because it's so nimble and fast on the string. And then grinds were great with this yo-yo. Since it is so wide, finger grinds are really, really nice. It's got very little friction between the string and the yo-yo, so you can do those grinds for a while. There's a little bit of a ridge there you can lock in for a thumb grind. Nothing too crazy, but you can still do them. And then finger spins were fine, but it doesn't have a center that you would lock into, so you just kind of rotate around the middle for a little bit. All right, so I've been yapping a lot about this yo-yo. Let's kind of sum it up, give you the TLDR. Essentially, the Feather is a very unique and very innovative yo-yo. I have never seen a yo-yo that is this light and has this much stability, and I'm super impressed by it. However, when you're thinking about purchasing this yo-yo, just know it is super light. If you're expecting something that plays like the yo-yos that you use and feels pretty comfortable in the hand and everything like that, this is not that yo-yo. It's a unique yo-yo. Whether you're a collector or you're looking for the lightest competition yo-yo out there, those two criteria make this yo-yo a great bet. However, like I said, if you're looking for something that feels a little bit more secure, this is not the most secure feeling yo-yo in the world. It's super light. However, this yo-yo is a ton of fun to play with. It is so relaxing and easy to play with. It takes no effort to move this thing around, which is kind of a fun, refreshing feeling. So if that all sounds interesting to you, I think you won't be disappointed with this throw. All right, that is my honest review of the 44Emporium Feather. I want to thank Evan and the team again for making this entire review possible. Like I said, I'm gonna have all their links and contact information in the description. Be sure to check out their store, and if you're looking to cop this yo-yo, the link should be down there as well. I hope you guys all enjoyed this review. If you did, be sure to leave a like. And also, if you're new here and haven't seen my videos before, hit that subscribe button. I should be coming out with some new reviews and also some tutorials in the next coming months. So be sure to stay on the lookout for those. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.